Hello YouTube, welcome to new Synth Anatomy video. I'm here with Dom Beken from the Saucerful Secrets of from Nick Mason, and he wants to show me your gig or your rig of
sure.
keyboard rig, because I think it's very interesting to see how you create the sounds of the 60s and 70s of Pink Floyd songs.
Yeah, sure.
So I see you have keyboards, synths. So it's a wide range of different keyboards.
Yeah, it's a hybrid. It's very much a hybrid rig. So it's kind of half is analog, half is well, that's more halves. But there's an analog side of it. Then there's the Nord C2D, which covers the organ emulations and rotary speaker and amp. And then I also use a lot of sounds from inside main stage as well, which these two keyboards are for. Samples, and then pianos, choirs. Other synthesizer pads as well.
So probably the main sound of Pink Floyd is organ, Farfisa, and all these.
Yeah, from that period. Yeah, so the C2D has been really useful just for having access to a Vox Continental, a B3, and a Farfisa, and a couple of amp emulations, as well as the rotary speaker, a Leslie.
And how do you make this for? Because these instruments doesn't exist in 2018. How do you create them, or are these special keyboards which have these sounds?
Yeah, the C2D handles most of the organ emulations, which is really useful because it's got these drawbars on the top, so I use them constantly throughout the show the same way Rick did to modify the sound. But it's just a little bit more flexible because each manual has two sets of drawbars, so I can switch between two presets.
Is it for you, goes it the same direction, or is it just sound identical from?
It's not identical, it's a lot cleaner, but it's close enough. I mean, to carry a Hammond B3, on tour is, well, for a start, wouldn't fit on our truck, and wouldn't fit on some of the stages we've been playing, especially with this amount of other keyboard stuff. So this is a really good...
And less smart, because there you have presets, you can recall them. Your sounds
I mean, I would prefer to have a real organ on stage, but the other problem is maintaining it. You constantly have key switches failing, and and the amount of voltage running between the organ and the Leslie is really high. So this is just a nice, neat solution and a lot smaller. And I like the sound of it. It's good, and the feel of it's nice. So it's nice and reliable.
And so you have multiple different instruments here in this keyboard. Probably you have an organ, you have different styles.
Yeah. So some. I mean, this one is a Farfisa through a Leslie, which we use for Lucifer Sam. This. Which is great for that. Other songs are more. Something like Obscured by Clouds is more of a B3 sound. Mm-hmm. So it's useful for having those kind of flavors available really quickly.
So you have additional effects on this drawbar, or is it or on this organ, or do you use the internal stuff mostly for the songs?
No. I use a little bit of the internal stuff, but every part of the rig goes into main stage, which is like the main routing hub in the mixer in main stage, and then I have two send pedals which can send, if I can find the sends. One sends to a line level effects rig, which is the Mogafoga pedals into the Echos X2, which is a multi-head version of the bin send, and then one into the Echos X3, which is a single head but has tap tempo, so I can send the organ into there with the second pedal rather, or I can actually make it, instead of a send, so I can have a little bit of it, or I can change it to 100% wet through here. And the same goes for the organ, for the Moog rather. I can run it through some. run it into the other set of effects, which is the so it's really useful to be able to use. I can use any keyboard, so these keyboards as well run through the same two sets of effects loops and the wah pedal on the floor, and I just have control of them. I can either use them here as sends or I use them here as wet dry mixes.
And so for you,
very flexible.
So what is for you then now the advantages to use these Muga Fugas, because they're normally more guitar pedals or more?
No, not really. I mean, they're basically external modular units. I mean, yeah, they're in this format because you can use them with guitars, but I mean, essentially they're little modular units, modular units, and they work great with keyboards. And it really, because there's so much improvisation in the show, so a lot of the sound design and keyboard stuff is all improvised and done on the fly. And between myself and Gary and Lee and Guy and Nick, you know, we swap parts and we swap what other people are doing. Sometimes the guitar sounds like a synth. Sometimes I'm backing it up. Sometimes I'm playing lead and they're laying down a pad behind.
So every show is different.
Every show is different, yeah.
So if I see one show now in Luxembourg,
yeah.
This today is different from the improv part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, for example, songs like Set the Controls to the Heart of the Sun, that can be 8 minutes one night, 14 minutes another night, or anywhere in between, depending on the crowd and what we're playing and how it sounds. But it's that, you know, it's just having the closest thing to my studio synth rig on stage that I can, but having it reliable so I can control as many things as possible.
And I see that you have the subsequent 37th Moog.
Yeah.
And I see also in concert in Luxembourg, you see on the Obscured by Clouds, you use it massively, the sub.
Yeah.
Is this for what kind of sound of this? Is this for the bass sound?
Do you know what? I can't remember what the original synth part on Obscured by Clouds was played on, and I didn't want to take a vintage synth out. I wanted something that was flexible, had plenty of control on the front panel, but which could do a really truly analog sound, but which was roadworthy. And this one kind of really is the most flexible thing I could find from Moog, and it also has presets, which is great, so I can get straight to the start of the sound for it. So this is actually the patch from Obscured by Clouds, which I think is quite low, which starts with this. So the pad is actually played by bass guitar at the beginning, and then I can come in with plenty of delay and so it's really nice for that I can play with it on here as well.
And you use it for any sound, from bass sound, from lead sound?
Yeah, so I mean some of the songs like...
Because it's now not a polysynth, so...
No, I mean some songs like Vegetable Man I don't think had synthesizer on them, but it's... A lot of this music has influenced so many modern bands so much. A lot of the time you feel, even though we're playing music from the mid to late 60s, that you're playing stuff, you could be in Mogwai or in Blur or something. So I mean on Vegetable Man I'm playing so it's a synth sound there which blends with the other synth and just makes it sound a lot more.
What we exactly know from Moog, big fat bass sounds and...
Yeah, exactly. But the lead sounds are great as well. I mean, some of them are really quite sort of esoteric. Trying to think. I also use it as a controller. So in Atom Heart Mother,
patch recalling is made with your pedal, probably directly on your...
With Mainstage, yeah, so I can go forward or backwards a song, you know, from here.
And I see you have on the right side then also there's some Midi keyboards.
Yeah, so for example on green is the colour, this one we're playing. these seagulls.
That's probably one of a very old MIDI controller, yeah, from
This one,
Oberheim.
the
Yeah?
Oberheim, yeah, but it's built like a tank.
Yeah.
I've had it for, I think I've had it maybe 15 years, but it's...
See it not yet on the stage or on one of
You've
my...
not seen it? No.
Not yet, no.
It's just, no, it's great, and I'm really used to the feel of it. It's really nice.
And talking about now with the MIDI controllers, you have in main stage then also virtual instruments, yeah?
Yeah, so I've got a whole bunch. I'm trying to think. So I've got samples in here as well. So for example, in Rats and the Piano, I have an old Morrison's piano at home. So I sampled the piano, every single pair of Neumann U87s on there. And that's every single note on the Morrison at home, but plucked with a knife, like with just a piece of cutlery. And then I did some effects with it as well, so...
You said, are you using Omnisphere?
No, this is a sample patch I made myself.
But you using also Omnisphere?
I'm using Omnisphere a bit. Yeah, no, this one is a patch I made in Contact.
And what is the role of Omnisphere in your setup here? Is this more...
There's a few sounds. I particularly like this sound from Omnisphere, which is the... Omnisphere is playing those kinds of patches. Where else do I use it? Particularly the choir thing. It's making some nice... For if... I think, where else is it?
So you're using the industry-leading products for Omnisphere, Contact, and what is known in the... Also on stages.
Yeah, generally.
And you running on a MacBook Pro? I see one of the latest ones. Yeah.
Yeah, this is was the latest MacBook Pro, and then there's a backup of the same machine, and then the other machine is a less powerful laptop, but that's there so that my tech can monitor everything that's going on. So he monitors the outputs of all the rigs. All of the keyboards come into my Focusrite Red 8 Pre. Using the mic inputs, there's 8 mic inputs on here, which take the inputs from all the keyboards and the inputs from all the effects coming back. This one is connected to the backup machine, and this one is the main one. Then my keyboards come up for me, directly to me on my desk, so I don't have to refer to the monitor engineer. If I feel I'm not hearing enough of myself, I can change it really quickly here. And then the splits from here go out over Dante to the front of house and to the monitors. And then down here, Orchid have made me a switching unit so that if one machine goes down, with one button we switch to a separate set of outputs, and all of my effects feeds then are switched to the second B machine.
And I see you using also a iConnectivity Mio. It's for...
Yeah, well this is great because you can connect 2 computers to one set of keyboards, and it also has Ethernet outputs. I've only just come across this recently and swapped out the Mark of the Unicorn for
this.
And
so you're using this for connecting every keyboard in
all, it? Yeah, all the MIDI runs through the Mio, and then it allows me to connect 2 computers to the Mio. And I also have a backup of MIDI from the Mio, comes out over Ethernet. So I take a backup version of the MIDI, and that also runs to the other backup machine, so that if there's any bad MIDI messages go out there, or a note gets stuck or something, then my tech can see that and fix it sort of during the show.
When you get invited or asked by Nick Mason to play on his tour, your reaction was it for you a challenge to recreate all these sounds or a big work?
Yeah, there was a lot of programming to put the show together to make it flow smoothly, and so that it mostly so that we had enough scope to improvise. You know, there's no playback in the show. At no point does anything just run in the background and we play along to it.
And how I would say how deep or how exactly, not exactly, but is Nick Mason now? If he said, "Please make the sound like this," or is it what's your direction or?
Oh no, we work very much as a band. You know, it's very, you know, sometimes you'll say, you know, do you have an idea for this? I said, well, you know, I think this might work great. And sometimes Nick will say, you know, I've got a really good idea. Wouldn't it be nice if, you know? But we all work together, you know, really as a.
So it was more for your band for playing together and have fun.
Yeah, yeah, and that's certainly how we started it. I mean, obviously, you know, Nick is our band leader. But we started with the premise of, would it be nice to play some of this music?
See, unnormal for a band where band leader is the drummer.
Yeah, it isn't that usual. No, but actually, a drummer's a great position to be in, to be leading the band, you know, because you're there just keeping the time and keeping that heartbeat and setting the groove all the time. And I think without that, you know, that sound from Nick and the way that he plays, which is just gloriously laid back, and the groove just sits really nicely, so...
And I see also now in your pedal system, it's many things are the echo. Yeah, the sound is many influenced by echo.
Yeah, well, this was a real key part of the sound. So these are provided me by Guru, so an Italian company. I think they originally were maintaining the old original Binson Echo, so the Binson Echo Rec from the '60s, the original ones that Nick and that Rick and David were using, and they went into making these, well, originally the Echo-Sex 1, and then I had an Echo-Sex 2 which Gary has on a stand, and the Echo-Sex 3 just has the addition of a tap tempo, and the Echo-Sex 2 T7E has 2 extra heads, and nicely they modified this one for me so that it can run 100% wet. The original Binsons, you mix in the echo with the dry signal, so there's no true bypass. You can just switch the echo on and off. But this one has no dry signal in it at all. It just has the echo on it, whereas this one has dry.
You are still now on tour? So
yeah,
we're the next few weeks, I think, yeah?
Yeah, next 2 weeks. So we're doing last 3 dates of Europe. So today, where are we? Vienna, tomorrow Milan, and then Zurich, and then we fly back to do, I think, 6 shows in the UK. So we've got Portsmouth, London, Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow, Nottingham.
And you personally are a music producer, I think?
Yeah, I usually produce and write. Yeah,
so you're more in the studio?
Yeah, I'm studio based. I normally do a lot of synth music. You know, I write music for video games, for films, for TV.
And can you talk what is your latest project beside this now on stage?
I've got a video games company with some friends called Snap Finger Click. So we just released a game called Awkward, and we specialise in family and social gaming, where you can all get together around the console and play. So I've been writing music and doing the sound design for Snap Finger Click.
So this work here with Nick Mason is quite different to your daily job.
Yes, but I love it because I really enjoy playing music with other people. And a lot of the time, music production these days, especially composing, is a lot of time on your own. So, now I miss the days where, you know, my normal day would be to go to the studio and then have plenty of session musicians and other musicians around during the day. And these days, there's so much technology that you can do everything at home. And then when I do need a session musician, often it's easier and cheaper to Skype. You know, to Skype call them and to do the session over Skype, and then they send me the files. So it's just great.
And we live in 2018. There's so much gear for the studio. And so, can you talk? What is your latest acquisition for your studio? Or maybe
the latest thing I've bought for the studio? To be honest with you, I spent an awful lot of money on upgrading a computer and putting the whole studio on. My studio all works on RedNet devices with audio over Dante.
Okay.
So I've got quite a few computers in the studio, as well as my PC for running video games on, and all the audio runs through a Dante network with RedNet devices, which is great. So that was a big investment. I think the other big investment was a big analog patch bay. So I've been collecting old effects units and synths and pedals. And
so you are more in the studio, more in the box.
No, very out of the box.
Out of the box.
Out of the box, but obviously the computer workstation is at the centre of that, so everything runs in and out of the workstation with a lot of analog.
Because I heard always from people who are in the music product and the soundtrack composing, the main tool is Contact.
Use Contact a lot, yeah. I mean, it's become the platform that everybody goes to for a lot of their orchestral samples. So yeah, I mean, I have to admit I use Spitfire a lot, and that's all Contact based. But you know, there are other ones, LA Scoring Strings, what other libraries I've got at home now that have their own standalone platforms like the Play platform. So
Okay, and you can give some message where you can find maybe more music from you?
yeah, if you just Google my name, Dom Beken, and it's just a strange surname, Beken.
On Facebook also? Or?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but there's some stuff. I released an album last year of instrumental music, kind of film track stuff, which is out there. And before this, I had a band with Alex Patterson from the Orb called High Frequency Bandwidth, and I think there's 5-6 albums out there to buy. So yeah, let me know if you like it. It's different from early Pink Floyd, but
okay. Thank you, Don.
Tom, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming down.